welcome to this exciting video where you once again join me out here in the wild countryside of Scotland. And today I'm out on the mountain bike and I've come to find some cool abandoned history up the top of Glen at like Loch Lee and Invermark Estate. And look at this for the start of the video. The young unicorn. What a cool beast, folks. Anyway, on with this adventure. Check out the character of this abandoned house here, folks. It's crazy. It's amazing that a house like this can just be abandoned out here on the hill. The landscape up here is absolutely crazy, folks, and the wind is just howling down this glen. I was going to go over to that side and have a look, but I'm just going to head up this road a bit further and see if there's anything else, because the landscape just looks magnificent up here. Look at this incredible landscape, folks. I'm further up Invermark Estate now on this track, and look at this wild landscape with the purple heather on the hills, and you can see Loch Lee way down in the distance. And it's like this land here has been carved out by glaciers back in the glaciation period here in Scotland. The sharp, rugged cliff tops up there would have been up above the level of the ice, and the lower down sections you can see they've been smoothed off from the flow of ice carving its way down this glen. And even Loch Lee itself would have been carved out by the glaciers like back in the day. It's crazy to see that, the way the lie of the land is. And it almost looks like there could be a wee like loch up there because the sun over that ridge. But there's like wasps flying around me right now, folks. I am getting out of here. That is crazy. There was like 3 or 4 wasps just circling me there. Look at this landscape in front of me with the cliffs. Look at this, folks. It's an incredible piece in the land here. There's an amazing waterfall rolling over these stones in front of me, but in the distance there's a mega massive waterfall over there, and I believe that's the original direction, the original glacier that used to flow around this glen. I believe it would have come from that side, and you can almost see the lines on the ground, which is crazy to see, where the ice may have like flowed in 2 different directions from this point. But even to this day there's a massive waterfall over there, and we'll have to go and check it out. But first we'll go and take a little look at this waterfall. This is crazy, folks. Like, I love a waterfall, and I've not actually seen one on a video for a little while, and here's 2 brand new, totally different waterfalls. So yeah, let's get into this adventure. I think getting over to that one's going to be more of a mission, because there's actually 2 rivers here joins up, so I'll have to cross that somehow. But that's what these spontaneous adventures are all about. I can't believe the size of that waterfall over there. I might actually have to walk up the bed of the river. That might be the easiest route at this time of year. In the summer, quite often things are overgrown, and yeah, it just adds to the adventure. Anyway, let's go and check this incredible scene out, folks. This is so cool, folks. Finding a brand new spot like this that I've never seen before in my life. It's like exploring a Scottish paradise. You never know what you're going to see around the corner, and the way that this stones is all carved from the river, it breaks off in like 3 different directions, and there's just tons of little waterfalls and stuff right down here. Wow, look at this one. Each individual waterfall is just an incredible thing to see. The way the water drops in and churns. Wow, the whole way along here there's just hundreds of miniature waterfalls. Yeah, it's all just like dropping in. What an adventure this is, folks. Wow. I'm going to have to go and check out this other incredible waterfall as well. I've never seen anything like this in my life. Oh yeah, look, this side's worn out from the water, so probably in storms it comes hurtling over here. Because look, it's totally worn, it's like there's a secondary waterfall. But nowadays all the water's just flowing around this way. Maybe even the water has like changed its course over the years, because the rocks is extremely worn here. But then also this could have been worn if this land here was under ice at one time. Maybe the flow of water under the ice as it melted and travelled down here, it could have created anything. It's crazy just looking at the lie of the land and seeing the geology. See, it's amazing that the rocks even at that height there are worn smooth, and there's no way the burn has been away up there. So that backs up kind of the theory of like the glaciation and stuff like that. I've got my bike chilling up there, so I'm not really wanting to lose it. Somebody might cycle away down the glen on it. Wow, just look at it. Like, this is seriously worn here. It's like a labyrinth of worn rocks, folks. Just check how deep it is. Like, there's deep, dark rock pools down there. Wow. I had no idea there was anything even like this up these glens here at the top of Invermark. I'm so glad that I've stopped here to have a look. Wow, there's another one of these big dark pools down here. I'm actually wanting to see what's over the edge. Like, it looks like there's a massive dark hole there. I might be safer walking around the top. This is crazy, folks. Sometimes you have to come to the coolest places to get the coolest shots, and I'm always amazed just like the little nuggets like this that's hidden. There's a high quartz content in the rock here. I'm really just wanting to peek over here. Wow, it's all just worn pools, and yeah, the water must flow down here ferociously at times. And this is the smaller waterfall of the two. We're away to go and have a look at the bigger waterfall now, folks. If I can make my way over here, all these rocks and stuff, they're proper dangerous. It's not advised probably even to be climbing about up here. Wow. It's also like adder territory up here, folks. Scotland has a lot of like adder snakes, especially up glens like this. I'm going to try and get over to these rocks. Wow, there's hundreds of bays here. Insane adventures. And then this is the side over here where the river is actually flowing. Look at this, folks. In the centre of the shot there's an adder curled up in a little ball. Wow, I'm getting out of there. I was just saying there was a snake. That was crazy, folks. That snake was just curled up in a little circle. Honestly, that's an adder, and if you get bitten by one of them, you can be in serious trouble. Right now, there's bees circling around me as well. Best thing I can do is get out of this extreme environment and keep it moving. I'm wanting to go to that second waterfall, which is located behind me over here. But after seeing the adder, I'm proper shook. I knew this is prime like adder territory, but just seeing one right there, it was where I was walking. Mind blowing, folks. It's crazy. I'm going to try and go for it though. I'll follow this track down and try and follow the riverbed up, because this waterfall over here is worth it, folks. These adventures are just crazy. Yeah, I love it. Look at this, folks. We've got some sheep here chilling out here, eating this fresh Scottish grass. You can't get fresher than that. I can actually see there's like triangles on there. I don't know if it's warning signs or if the gamekeepers had little targets there at one time. There's actually been an old croft here though, which is interesting. There's old outlines of walls, and even here where I'm sitting right now, there's like a ridge line going. So it might have even been like an old track. but there's definitely been like a wee croft here at one time, and I'm just hoping this track takes me right over to this waterfall. I don't know how well it comes out on the camera, but these hills around here are just pure purple with the heather. I'm just keeping my eyes out too, so there's no more like adders. The thing is, I could not record closely because it would strike so fast that I wouldn't be able to move my hand away in time. If I had my tripod on the handle of the camera, I could have extended it right down and gotten a close-up, but the thing is, with an adder in that dangerous situation, it could move so much faster than me, because I had to like literally jump over the burn and negotiate my way out of there. Just crazy scenes, folks. Anyway, let's head on. These massive waterfalls are just in the distance. The landscape is just crazy, folks. Like, there's no way of describing it. The height and the size of these hills, it's mind-blowing. Have I ever mentioned real adventures in this channel, folks? I do believe that literally I'm waiting to get wet feet, but it's going to be so worth it for this adventure to get to this waterfall. So I'm heading over here with my bike in hand, folks. Here we go, check it out, it's so amazing. We're just out here full send, folks. If there's a crazy thing to be seen like this, I'm all for it. The new trainers are certainly getting a workout, like walking through rivers and stuff. It's the craziest terrain. Wow, every footstep I'm just cautious there's no adders lurking. The height of these hills as well, folks, it's just an absolute madness out here. I'm just carrying the bike now as well over this amazing terrain. I'm just kind of cutting these little bridges. Every footstep could be my last before I get fully submerged in the river, folks. But that's what these adventures are all about. How funny would it be if I just fell on my back in that water? Wow. We're fully out here. We've just navigated across this double kind of burn. This is the river here, which flows over the waterfall. But it doesn't look like much once it gets this far away from the waterfall. It's probably dispersed so far through this quartzy fine stone here. This is totally insane, folks. I'm literally just dodging through these waterways, and I've just realised there's an even bigger burn that I still have to cross here. It's an incredible adventure. I'm just going to have to go full send through this. I could maybe even try and like leave my bike here at this side. Yeah, I could try and maybe just head up this side of the river for a bit. I'll update you, folks, once we get nearer the water, the waterfall. Look at this for a scene, folks. We've just about made it. Whoa, there's sheep toll right here at the path. They're running away. This one got a fright because it must have been sleeping in when I started doing the video. It woke up. See, there's sheep with lambs here, so I'm just giving them time to clear the area. I'm not scaring them, and again, sheep can attack you if they've got lambs. But honestly, I've just gotten so close to this waterfall here. It's amazing. So excited to see this. It's like a total paradise explorer, and I'm amazed the things that's just hidden within this environment. The amount of wildlife and history and nature that we find on these adventures, it blows my mind. And it's cool to have a variety like this. Who would have known it? A massive waterfall, folks. It's like crazy. Anyway, on with this adventure. If I start getting attacked by the sheep, I'll put the camera back on. Look at this, folks. We've made it to this incredible waterfall. Let's head on down the hill. Wow. The water looks quite peaty, but the environment here is just insane. When I left the house this morning, I had no idea I was going to witness such an incredible waterfall. And the height of these rock faces at both sides is just mind-blowing to see. What a crazy environment. It's amazing the rich variety of different landscapes that Scotland's got to offer in such close proximity. When you see a massive waterfall like this, it's just so cool to see. But it's rarely seen because of its distance away from like the mainstream areas to explore. I'm just picking the best route. Often adders will sit on the rocks getting the heat from the sun at this time of year. Like we saw back there though, the adder was actually on top of the warm earth between the two rivers, folks. Wow, look at this, it's just magnificent to see. A crazy waterfall. Never seen before on the channel, folks, and I love bringing new stuff like every week. Fresh locations, fresh places, and wow. I'm going to try and get as close to this waterfall as I can. If anybody visits places like this, they have to keep it safe. Only explore within your means. All these massive rocks have probably come tumbling down from that hill at one time. So it just shows you the land's constantly changing and moving. And see with that waterfall coming over there, it's just so cool to see. Wow. Once again, folks, I've brought you another extreme Scottish area in this video, and like, I've never even seen this, and it blows my mind with stuff like this. The roar from that is just incredible. And look at the way the sun's shining over through the top droplets it's blasting, and the way it's just spread over the rocks as it rolls down. Wow, there's so much force in that section of water there. This waterfall actually drops 3 times, and this is the lowest down drop. I wanted to go down here, but it looks so fluffy, folks. Here we go, we're getting a bit closer. Wow, this crazy wind just coming and hit me. My legs are just blowing with like a damp breeze. Every now and again you get sprayed with like a big chunk of water. Look at that. Whoa. I can't even explain in words how it feels to be in a place like this. I don't know how deep this would be here where it's totally wearing down like, but probably in a storm the water's just coming flying over the top of that. Wow, folks, just check it out. There's some total mad rainbows forming at this side, folks, with the spray from the water. The wind and the spray, you can see it, the water's just flying up at a high speed. I'm just thinking I could go further up and maybe try and record it, but I'm just going to keep it safe because the rocks will be sloughy. But yeah, I can't believe the quantity of water just dropping over here. It's been amazing to come and find and document one more waterfall, folks. I'm going to dry the lens again because there's so much spray at this point. I can see the water on the lens. I'm also being cautious when I lean on stones and stuff. That's exactly where you can get adders. So yeah. Look at these plants here, folks. They look so cool. See with stuff like that, folks, I love trying to get a cool angle for a picture. Sometimes if you add a bit of colour or something in with a plant or a flower, it just brings the picture to life. The way the light's shining over the top particles of water, it just adds to the whole atmosphere of this waterfall. Wow, I'm just thinking there's a wee track. I'm going to try and walk up it. Look at where I am, folks. It's a total madness sometimes coming to these adventures. Like, what am I even doing on the side of this hill, like in the middle of this Scottish wilderness? Blows my mind. I can see more mist coming off that waterfall further up, so I'm keen to go and try and see if there's more like dramatic scenes up here, folks. Wow, check out this, folks. We're up nearer the top of the waterfall. Just check out the land we're in here. Look, there's a total ferocious other bit of the waterfall here. Excuse the wind blowing through on this episode, folks. We're literally here in the wild landscape of Scotland. Wow, see, this is a whole other waterfall. This is the... Oh, it looks like the waterfall just drops and drops and drops the whole way down here. My bike is sitting away down there on the path though. So I'm just trusting that nobody's going to come along and nick it, like. Wow, look how peaty the water is. It looks brown there where you can see the thick stream. Maybe in the winter months when things is less overgrown, it would be easier to climb a bit on this heather hill. I'm just thinking I'll go down here maybe and have a look. Have a better look at that. This is insane, folks. I'm continuing a bit further up this mad waterfall. There it is, that's the drop into the secondary bit that we saw a minute ago. But look, here's more. It's just constantly dropping down here, the whole way down the hill. Wow, look at the force. There's rainbows and stuff with the sun shining through. It's crazy to see it meandering away off in the distance. Away down there is where I was like walking through the shallow bit of the river. I'm not wanting to go too far because I've obviously left my mountain bike and stuff down there. Wow, this is just so cool. Look at the way it flows here and then just drops away in. Crazy scenes, folks. Scotland's got so much like wild, like abandoned history and crazy wildlife, but at the same time it's got mad like natural wonders like this, carved by nature. And it's just like there's just waterfalls upon waterfalls upon waterfalls the whole way down here. This is an absolute madness, folks. I've followed that waterfall up to the top of this hill, almost up to the top of the hill, and look, it's like I've come into like a jungle terrain here, and it looks like the river in front of me is carved out a massive gorge here in the rocks. I just thought it's worth putting the camera on to capture this incredible scenery. Wow. Sometimes I can't even believe what I see on these adventures, folks. Check it out. Crazy. Like, look, it's just waterfalls even there. This is what I love seeing. Look at the way all this has been carved out by the river. And then these massive hills are still towering over the top of us. Maybe one time in the winter months we'll have to take a proper trek up here and see where all this waterfall and stuff comes from. It's been so cool to see this, but I still have to navigate back out of this crazy wilderness, folks, so yeah, I'll keep you updated. But I'm going to get a couple of pictures right now before we continue this adventure. That's some mad crazy scenes out here, folks. Like, I'm just out on top of this massive boulder, just at the top of this crazy waterfall, and it's like unplanned. I'm always amazed, like, there's just stuff like this hidden around. Hardly anybody comes to see this stuff because it's so hard to get to. These hills at this side are even higher, just sheer cliff faces, folks. Maybe some of these stones came from up there at one time. The landscape up here is just massive, dangerous and unforgiving. And even the wildlife, folks, it's crazy. I'm just going to follow this path back down the waterfall. Climbing up here was a total mission, but there is a kind of rough track. You can kind of see it continues up that way, maybe beyond further up the waterfall, but because my bike's down here, I'm not wanting to dither about too long up there. Whoa, the waterfall's down at this side. Now I'm going this direction, the shadow's at a poor angle. Folks, I think this is the path. Maybe not. Maybe this is the path down here. As I've proven with this video, folks, you never know what you're going to see. I had all intentions of finding like some abandoned history, or maybe like the remains of a wee croft or something on these wild hills, but we found this magical, like, natural wonder here. So because this is like a spontaneous adventure, folks, I'm not even sure like the name of these waterfalls and stuff, but it's just up at the top. Invermark's like the road that I came up on my bike, past like Loch Lee and all that cool things. Amazing looking places, and literally I've just come beyond that, and I believe at one time there would have been a glacier flowing down here, and off away around the corner in front of me, that's where Loch Lee and stuff is. This land's all been carved at an ancient time. These massive cliffs that you see up here with the clouds rolling by behind them, it's like they would have been sticking up over the top of like snow at one time years ago. It's crazy to imagine that, like the history of the planet. But even to this day, it just looks incredible up there. Those cliffs are literally like overhanging. You can't express it in words how amazing some of that stuff can actually look. And then the roar from that waterfall behind me, it's blowing my mind, folks. Real adventures once again. Literally, folks, there's some sort of creature right here in front of me, and it's making me wary. I'm going to hit a jump down here and go around past it right now. My next footsteps, I hope it's not a snake. I'm a bit spooked out, folks, with the whole adder situation. After seeing that adder earlier, you never know what you're going to get. That's what these adventures are like. Some weeks I'm worried about the ticks, sometimes it's the wasps, other times it's adders and poisonous snakes and crazy things that you wouldn't even know existed in Scotland, folks. But when you're out in these crazy high altitude like hill glens, there's all sorts of stuff like that lurking, ready to change your day from a cool adventure to a hospital visit, folks. And even if you get bitten by an adder, there's not a lot they really do for you at the hospital, because it's such a rare thing. That's how you can often be in trouble if you get bitten by an adder. Even anti-venoms and stuff, it would take so long for you to get administered with that. Normally a fully grown healthy adult is okay if they get bitten. They're in pain and they swell up. But if a kid or like an animal or something gets bitten, they would die for sure. But even a healthy, fully grown adult could die if they get bitten from an adder. It's one of these things, everybody's body would react different depending on even the level of the poison. But apparently if it's a young adder, it can have an even stronger poison, because it needs that stronger poison to defend itself if it's a small young adder. Whereas a bigger one would maybe be less potent, which is crazy to think about. And here we are, we're back at the foot of this incredible waterfall. What an adventure it's been, folks. It is crazy to consider the distance that I'm waiting to send it now down this road. Wow. I've just totally loved coming to see this though. It's been such an adventure. And something different, like I've said before, it's madness to see like history and like the landscape and nature, and even from different time periods. This has obviously been carving its way through the land for millions of years. Maybe it's been frozen at times and then it's thawed out again. Yeah, maybe in the winter this would look incredible with the ice which would form on the cliff face as well. Different times of year too, I could visit this and see, like I said at the top of there, I would like to go further up and see how many waterfalls there is in total. Look at that, folks, when the wind blows, just look at the mist coming up here from the waterfall. Wow. There's so much force with the waterfall. Wow, the different direction of the wind, you can just see the water swirling. That's what I love about these places, folks. They've got like a natural atmosphere created by the weather. Whoa, a massive dragonfly is flying about, folks. I say it all the time, and I know Dragonflies didn't really come out on the camera because they're so thin, so fast. But literally there's like a dragonfly, probably like 4-inch long, just flew over my head. There's so many of them this year and previous years. Whoa, like the amount of animals and stuff that I'm seeing these days, it's just so cool. Anyway, I'm going to roll down this glen. I'll update you when I'm further down. We'll say goodbye to this waterfall until in the future when we come back to explore again. It's been so cool to see this at the top of here though. Look where I am now, folks. I'm back at the crazy river crossing. I followed that track along, but it comes to like a ford section here and the river's actually deeper there. So I'm just away to walk across where I did before. The water's kind of shallower here, but it is still deep enough to get wet feet like, so we're just going full send basically, folks. It's the realest of adventures. Total beasts landing on me. Yeah, I just thought I would get the camera rolling for this in case it does all go wrong and I fall in. Carrying the bike across this, can you believe it? It's an absolute madness, folks. It is indeed the realest of adventures. I really need to step further than what I can. There we go, I've done it. I just stepped into the water. Here we go, we did it! Yes! I don't know what the camera angle was like there, folks, but we've crossed the first crazy section of river. See, 2 streams flow into one at this point, but there's actually the 3rd stream going down the far side and then they join up again further down there. So it's like some crazy little river section. Right now I'm on like no man's land. There's a wee island here in the middle. Pebbles deposited for the rivers. I'm going to call that Snake Waterfall at the far side now, because obviously I saw the snake there, so it was intense, and I'm happy I've not seen any more, but for sure I'll have been close to them again. Anyway, I need to get on to, this is the next crossing we're on right now, folks. I'm trying my best to stand on stones here, but really, maybe I should have crossed over there. Nah, we're going for it. It's the realest of balance here, folks. The craziest of balance I'm using here. Wow, there you go. I was able to hold the camera and my bike and balance at the same time. That's what these adventures are all about. I'll update you once I'm off this wild grassy land here. I'm sure there's a track that I can follow back up to the road, and then yeah, I'll be back to you, folks. The landscape here, let's take one last look at it before I head down. Look at that, folks, the land which we just explored, it's insane. It's been a wild adventure. And look, there's bees out here, they've got like beehives, must be for honey. It'll be the Scottish heather honey they've got there. You get the flavour of the local heather within the honey that the bees get the pollen from. And you can see the outlines there of, it must be like walls from what must have been the little farm croft. And there's still sheep kicking about there. Maybe that was little sheep pens from a time gone by. Right now, folks, there's an adder right in front of me. There's a brown adder there crossing the road, light brown, tiny little thing. I don't know how well it's coming out on the camera. That's the thing, they're just all around here. If it comes to me, I am absolutely screwed right now, because I can't reverse very quickly on the bike, so I'm just letting it cross. I don't even know how well it's coming out on the camera, but I'm not getting close to it. Wow, it'll be getting the heat as it goes. They like the heat from the sun because they're cold-blooded. It's got a tiny little head. Right, I think I'm away to make the move. I'm going to go past it. Wow, it's going quicker now. There it is, it's away into the grass, slithering away. Crazy, folks. Wow, so that's the second adder I've seen. See, the first one was quite black, almost like a real dark green, and it was a lot bigger. That one there was light brown. The first one was curled up in a ball, whereas that one was obviously crossing, but that was a real light brown one with a tiny little head. and they're so well camouflaged against the background. It's crazy. Like, you just have to be so careful navigating these areas, because if you actually accidentally stood on it or ran it over with your tyre, that's when it would bite you. It wouldn't be interested in biting you unless you, like, it thought you were a threat. So yeah, that's a madness, folks. I just had to put the camera on to say that. To see, it's like real Scottish wildlife, folks. Adders. It blows my mind. I'm just about back down the distance of Loch Lee. Look at this little abandoned house here, folks. It's crazy to see a wee house like that. The roof's almost totally kaput on it. Imagine looking out your window over this magnificent view. It would just be stunning. And right now we're at the top of Loch Lee, and there's some crazy massive birds of prey up there circling. The wildlife we've seen today has just been so cool, so rare. I'm not even sure what type of bird of prey that is. It's not a buzzard, and it's not a red kite. And like, there's potential that could be an actual eagle, but I've not actually seen an eagle flying in the wild enough to know what I'm seeing. Look how big that bird of prey is, folks. Wow. I can't even believe the size of that. That'll be fleeing about looking for voles or like mice, any type of animal. You get like polecats out here and weasels and all kinds of creatures, folks. And those, like those buzzards or whatever they are, birds of prey, they'll just come down, swoop down. Their eyesight's so good, they'll be able to see from way up there. Look at that little bridge. It's like there's maybe been another bridge there before, and then that's been a temporary thing put in. I've just started pushing because I've got this little uphill bit here, and I've been cycling quite far on this adventure, folks. It's been cool. Yeah, I'll update you once I'm further down, unless I see any other dramatic crazy things. It's so much less windy now than it was when I first came in on this adventure. Right, folks, that's been a crazy cool adventure. The amount of things we've seen, it's blowing my mind. The amount of animals and wildlife and nature with the waterfall, the ferocious power of the water flying over that, carving its way through the stones. Even that first waterfall where it just looks insane the way the stones is worn, and finding that adder chilling in between the waterfall and that, it's like one of my favourite things, just finding something like that. It's like almost scary when you find something that close. You become face to face with nature, and then boom. It's the adrenaline rush of the adventure, folks. But you need to treat like nature like that with respect, and it can be dangerous. But yeah, it's been a fun adventure. We've seen a lot, but I'm going to end it here. I'm not sure what I'm doing for the next adventure yet, but I'm going to try and find some abandoned history for sure, folks. So yeah, I'll end it here. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll catch you very soon with the next one.